we're going to talk about progress reports today. And I know it's a little early, but progress reports are coming up soon, probably mid-October, which really is not that far away. And so we're just going to talk about the why and the process and the web kid side of it a little bit. If you have any questions, just let us know. Okay, so progress reports and goals. We have to have our goals. Measurable annual goals describe the anticipated progress that will result from specifically designed instruction the student will receive. That's what the goals are. We have to write them in all the IEPs. You've either written some or you've read some, right? Recently, hopefully. Okay, hope that's a yes. Then we want the goal measurable, because then how do we report progress on it? If it's not measurable, how do we know if we're being effective or not? So requirements for progress reports. We have to have how this child's progress towards meeting annual goals will be measured. So are you basing it on assignments? Are you basing it on tests? Are you basing on, just a behavior thing? Are you using it like a data chart? Okay. How are you collecting that data? When periodic reports on the progress will be provided, and we have a statement in the IEP because we have to notify parents how often that happens, and it happens every quarter, same as the gen ed staff reports every quarter, and that's an automatic statement in the IEP. And then progress toward goals. Oh, okay, that just means progress reports. And our progress reports are different than a gen ed teacher. A gen ed teacher will just print off their grade sheet, give it to teachers, and say this is how they're doing in math, or this is how they're doing in science. Ours are based on their IEP goals, not how they're doing their work in a classroom necessarily. Doesn't mean they can't kind of coincide together, but it's not the same thing. With me? You guys look super excited to be here today. I'm just excited. Okay, what's the purpose of a progress report? To judge the progress the child's making. So are they making any kind of progress towards that goal, or are they not? Okay, if they're not, we might need to reassess the goal, or we might need to reassess the activities we're doing to help reach that goal. Maybe the way they're needing to learn that information. And then also to inform parents of that progress. The benefit, more efficient and appropriately targeted instructional techniques. Okay, is it the technique not working, or is it the goal that's probably out of the reach of that child to master? Okay, and it's faster attainment of skills. Use the same measurement method on progress reports that you use to write the goal. So if you write the goal and you're going to say they're going to write a sentence 80% correct, okay, on the goal, it needs to have a percentage on the sentence. Don't say, well, they made a capital letter. Okay. But that doesn't measure the same thing. You need to be specific. Okay, include the progress of the child toward achieving his or her measurable goal. Provide baseline. So at the end, you have to do it every quarter. Okay. You also, I don't think we had this yet. It's probably coming up. So you do it every quarter. You also have to provide progress at your annual IEP. So how did they do on last year's goals? We need that information because if they've mastered it, great. We don't need the goal anymore, or we might need to change it, or we might need to look at something different, or maybe we haven't quite met it. Well, however we ended, that gives us data or the baseline for our new goal. Okay, it's required to complete progress reports at annual meetings, at amendments when you're either changing goals or you're discussing progress related to those goals. So if you're just having an amendment because parents bring in some documentation that the student has some health needs, you're not really discussing academic progress or goals. It's not required to do progress reports. Okay. However, the students met this goal and I need to make a new goal, you need to do a progress report to show that information. At the end of each reporting period, and our rule, we have our 10 days for everything. So our progress reports, we have a 10-day rule as well. If you had your annual IEP, say March 1st, and your third 9 weeks ends March 8th, if you haven't had more than 10 school days, 10 is a magic number, you don't have to report progress on that new goal. You can just write IEP is 7 days old, or IEP is 6 days old. Okay? If it's anything past the 10 days, if you hit day 11, you need to have something on there. even if it's very, very similar to whatever the baseline data was. Oh, it's right there. It has only been number of school days since the last reporting period. Regular teachers. A lot of your information may come from what they're doing in the regular classroom. So it needs to be, you have to develop that system with the general education staff on how you get that information. Okay, a lot of you probably have access to, if you use something similar to Skyward or PowerSchool or some kind of grade book program where you might be able to see all their grades. That might give you some information, but that might not give you enough details. Maybe you meet with the teacher. I don't know how you do that, but develop some system to get that information. Documentation purposes, are you doing worksheets? Are you doing charts? Have some kind of system and keep track of that information. Then contact in advance. Don't wait. My progress reports are due tomorrow. I kind of forgot about them. I need all this information today. No one's going to be happy about that, right? This is just an example of a record-keeping sheet. They have the goal written there at the top. And then, so this one is presented with assignments and tests, and what utilizes provided tools and accommodations. So this is a yes or no. Did they not? So this one they're keeping track. Are they using those things they have in place in the IEP? Okay, here's another one. The goal was, when presented with grade level text, you will answer comprehension questions with 85% accuracy. So they just shaded up to whatever percentage was correct. There's not one right or wrong data keeping tool. Okay? Everyone could have something different, and that would be okay. Here's just an example of a, what do we call them? I'm drawing a blank. The snapshot IEP that everyone gives out to general education staff at the very beginning of the year and potentially at intervals throughout the year. We make changes, or maybe in January when schedules change. So it's just an example of some things that could potentially be on there that you would already give to the teachers. Okay, and on there, some of you might have written goals, and this might be something that you could then give to teachers and say, can you tell me how they're doing on their goals? Okay, that might be one way you could do that. Okay, that's all about goals, or all about progress reports. Now we're going to tell you the WebKids side of it, on how to enter goals and principles. Okay? So should we take this off and just go through WebKids and show it?
Yes, because I think Rhonda would do all those things. Except for the last, do you want to go to the last slide of this and then say that first? Or are we going to come back and do all that?
Yes.
No.
The last slide.
No, I forgot we have some more, because are we going to come back and do those examples?
We'll do the examples first.
Okay.
That way we can get off the PowerPoint and then just go straight to WebKids. Okay, so our first goal example, by the next annual IEP, when presented with an analog or digital clock, Elmer will orally state the correct time to the hour 4 to 5 times observed. Okay? That doesn't mean you only do it 5 times throughout an entire 90 period. Okay? Just saying. So the progress could say, and you also want to, oh, this is later down. Okay, you want to restate it. It's better to restate the question or the goal in the progress, and it's better to make it kind of a complete thought, complete sentence, not just 60%. Okay? So 60%, yeah, tells us, but it might not be, parents might question that. Okay, so the example would be, when presented with an analog or digital clock, Elmer orally states the correct time to the hour 2 out of 5 times observed. We restated it, and we gave the data in the same method that we reported it in the goal.
And if you don't want to type all that, I always just, it will let you in WebKids highlight over it and copy it and paste it, and then just kind of switch your words around to make it into the right format.
Okay, goal 2. By the next annual IEP, when presented with one-step mathematical word problems, Elmer will add numbers within 50 with 90% accuracy. So then the progress report could be something like, when presented with one-step mathematical word problems, Elmer adds numbers within 50 with 75% accuracy. Good? Sounds pretty easy? You got this, all of you? Awesome. You're all going to be done. That's even nicer because now we're going to start kind of looking at them when you send an IEP, so we like that you get this. That's easy. Okay, when given nonfiction reading passages at Lexile level 700 to 800, some answer comprehension questions with 80%. So below, when given the passages with 700 to 800, he's answering questions with 64%. Okay, this one has benchmark. Okay, we only require benchmarks if the student is going to be taking the alternate assessment. If the student's not on the alternate assessment, you can do benchmarks, but they're not required. Okay? So this one, the goal is by the next annual IEP, Jennifer will sit in the classroom chair for 20 minutes while engaged in the classroom activities. The benchmarks, in 9 instructional weeks, she will sit in a classroom chair for 8 minutes. So they're going to build up to the 20 minutes, and that's what benchmarks do. They start kind of smaller and build up. So then on this type of benchmark, you would just report on benchmark 1. She sits in the classroom chair for 7 minutes. Okay, here we go, tips. Progress reports are required. It means you have to do them. Restate the goal. Communicate with your general ed teachers. Make sure that all providers have completed their progress reports before you print. So all your related service providers, your speech paths, your social workers, your OT, AT, PT, APE. If you have hearing, an HI provider or a VI provider, any of those will complete their own progress reports on the goals that they are responsible for. Okay? Or they might email you the information and then you will put it in there. But somehow they have to get that information to you. You're not expected to know what Kayla's doing in her social work sessions. Okay? And I don't know that you all want to know that. Okay? Provide progress reports to each lead-in. So again, if if parents live in different homes or there's more than one lead-in, progress reports have to be sent to both parents. Document in your folder typically it's on the left side in the file folder when you first look on the contact with parents. Document that you sent them out or some way. Okay, now we're going to go back. We're going to get out of this and I'm going to show you in WebKids how to do the progress report and then print. I don't know how to get rid of this. While she's pulling that up, Stephanie's going to kind of give you this. This is just a very condensed version of the PowerPoint, and it just goes through the steps. So, I mean, if you get back next week and you do progress reports, and I don't even have a clue what they said, I don't remember any of it. This will kind of help you, or call one of us. We can help you. And it is in the life binder. Okay, so first thing we're gonna go in and input progress report, pretend like first. Okay, so you can do it two different ways. Okay, you can either go through your students and go into the IEP and do it one by one, or you can go into the progress report section. Okay, I don't know why I never went to the progress report section because I was crazy, but you can't. So we're gonna go in the progress report. So under Edit IEP Students, you go to Edit Progress Report, and we don't have any students there because we did something wrong. Hey, at least I take ownership that we all did it, not just her, right? Okay, so we have, well, Test Buddy doesn't have any goals, so you're not going to see anything. Okay, Jeremiah has a goal. So the goal's going to be up here. Whoa, I'm not that tall. Your goal's going to be up there. You can copy and paste from there if you want to kind of work on your wording. But there's your goal, and then you come in here and you write how their progress is related to that goal. This first box will always be blank, okay? And what it does is it keeps them oldest on the bottom and the newest on the top. So say I put in a March, okay? Once I go to the next screen, it'll drop it down. So you always have this first block blank. Then in May, I report progress again. It'll go down. Does that make sense? So the oldest is on the bottom, the newest is on top. Okay. That's okay. Just type